Nations General Assembly, His Excellency Antonio Guterres, Secretary General of the United Nations, Excellencies, Heads of State and Government, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen. I'm honored to address this 77 section of the United Nations General Assembly on behalf of the government and people of Liberia. Let me congratulate His Excellency Saba Korosi on his election as President of this 77 sections of the United Nations General Assembly and assure him of Liberia's further support. I would also like to commend your predecessor, His Excellency Mr. Abdullah Shahid, for a job well done in administering the affairs of the 76 sections of the General Assembly. Let me also extend my profound thanks and appreciation to His Excellency Mr. Antonio Guterres, Secretary General of the United Nations, for his remarkable and visionary leadership. This year's assembly is taking place at a difficult time when even as the world is recovering from the scourge of COVID-19. We continue to face the challenges of the war in Ukraine, climate change and its devastating effects on our environment. Just as the Ukrainian people are enduring the harsh impact of this unwarranted military incursion, the rest of the world is feeling the harsh consequences of economic downturn caused by disruption in global supply chain, food insecurity, and rising prices of basic goods and services. The theme of this year's assembly, a watershed movement, transformative solutions to interlocking challenges, is both appropriate and meaningful. It not only remind us about the current state of our world and provide us the space to reflect on the multiple challenges that confront us today. They include the health and social economic impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic, the devastating effects of climate change, environmental concerns, poverty reduction, food insecurity, and gender inequality. The challenges confronting the world today will require immediate collective global actions with the United Nations at the center of the search for solutions. In so doing, we must give special consideration to the needs of developing countries, particularly the least developed countries, in line with the Doha Program of Action for Least Developed Countries for the decade 2022-2031. Working together with the United Nations family, Liberia hereby commits to protect our planet, to promote peace, prevent conflicts, to ensure sustainable.
Folks, welcome to Talk TV Media Monday Politics. This is where we recap information politics happening in and around the world, especially Liberia. Now that Liberia is on the verge of electing a president that will change the trajectory of the nation. This week, we will be witnessing one of the strongest opposition parties this week, to be more exact, Friday, that will be electing or appointing or choosing or picking, however you may call it, right? The vice president. But before we come to where we are as a nation, we need to realize where we've come from as a people. Because if you don't know where you've come from, you don't know where you are going. This is why I am reminding you here tonight as a nation, as a network, as a people, where we've come from. So join me and listen. It's different tonight before we delve into the issues of the day. Who would Joseph Numa Boakai be picking Friday? We need to know where we come from, where we are, and where we've come from. So you've heard the current president, Dr. George Weah, addressing the United Nations. Now, we'll hear his successor that he took from, Madam Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. Listen.
The risks of regression to war in post-conflict societies is high when the government and the international community are not able to make strong efforts at key moments and sustain them over time. When we took office, there was no electricity and no water. Schools and clinics have crumbled. Roads were impassable. Institution of governance had completely collapsed. In July of this year, we were able to turn on electricity and water to parts of our capital city, Monrovia, for the first time in 15 years. But time is pressing. Or if our international partners wait too long to ramp up its support, then we may lose the best chance Liberia has had in a generation to end the conflict permanently and build the foundations for growth and prosperity. We cannot afford to let that happen. Liberians are a resilient people. They just want the simple things that most people take for granted: to live their lives in peace, get a good education, to be able to provide for their families. These things are not too much for Liberians to dream about. Poverty reduction strategies are at the core of both averting a return to conflict and establishing the foundation for sustained development. We are placing emphasis on empowering the people, especially the poor and vulnerable, to become participants in a development process. Education is central to renewal and reconciliation. No nation can develop under conditions of a 70% illiteracy rate. Liberia is not a poor country, but a country that has been poorly managed. We are committed to change this, to pursue those goals that will move us from the crisis of the past to the opportunity of the present. We are committed as a people to build a new Liberia from the ashes of an old turbulent past to a future of hope and promise. Thank you.
There you have it, folks. Liberia is not a poor country, as you heard it from former President Madam Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. Liberia is not a poor country. But why is it that we are so poor? Why is it that the country is so poor? It is not a poor country. Yes, I agree. And I know a lot of you Liberians and those who have studied the history of Liberia and what Liberia is made of do know that Liberia is not a poor country. We have been blessed with resources, natural resources, iron ore, diamonds, gold, timber, rubber, palm nuts, coconuts, bitterball, kitili, rivers, ocean. We have it all. But why is it that Liberians are languishing in poverty? I have the answer, and I know many of you have the answer. It's simple. Poor leadership, poor management. When the people go to the election and vote, and they are telling someone, the essence of your vote is to tell whoever the elected leader is, we are hiring you for a job. Those of us who are here, who live in the diaspora, we understand when you are hired to do a particular job and you are being paid for that job. You are there to do the people's job. It is not your job. It is the people's job. Not to steal, not to squander the resources of the country. It is the interest. Where is the love of country? This is why Liberia and Liberians are languishing in poverty. Just as you've heard, God has blessed the nation of Liberia. But we have a very crucial election coming up. But before you make that decision, Talk TV Media is here to educate you. From George Weah, the current president, Dr. George Weah, from Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, Charles Taylor. A nation without a history will not know where we're heading. A human being without a history, you will not know where you are heading. So this is why we are here to remind you tonight. The history of Liberia. Listen to the next speaker.
What would
versus Charles Ganke Taylor, Justice Richard Lassick presiding.
Good morning. We'll take appearances first, please.
Appearing this morning for the prosecution, the prosecutor, Stephen Rapp, Mohammed A. Bangura, Christopher Santora, Maya Dimitrova, and myself, Brenda J. Hollis.
Yes, Mr. Griffith.
Good morning, Mr. President, Your Honor's counsel opposite. For the defense today, myself, Courtney Griffiths, assisted by my learned friends, Mr. Morris Anya, Mr. Terry Monyard, and Councillor Superwood. Also our case manager, Salah Moylanen, and also we're joined by the acting principal defender, Ms. Claire Carlton Hansen.
Yes, Mr. Griffiths, I believe you're going into evidence today.
Mr. President, yes, but I understood that we were awaiting a decision regarding an application I made yesterday.
Yes, we are. I was going to announce that later in the day. But,
Very well. Very well. So I call Mr. Taylor, the accused.
I will be the first to admit that bad things did happen in Liberia during the operations of the MPFL for several reasons. Let's not forget, we are dealing with a period of tribal problems. Doe had killed Nimbadians, Guios, and Manos, and Crowns were involved in the operations, assisted by some other groups. There was bad blood, the need for revenge on the part of our Satan groups. All of these things were going on. So when we launched this revolution to bring about stability in the country, yes, there were times when some individuals, because of their own selfish motives, engaged in certain actions. But what is very clear is that when we found out that atrocities have been committed, we acted. There are so many cases that have come in evidence before this court where the prosecution have said that we They called the names of several generals that were executed. Yes, we did. They were tried before military tribunals using the military code of justice that officers on this side of the court know very well, the Uniform Code of Military Justice. And if individuals and citizens were murdered in cold blood, they were taken before military tribunal. They had a fair day in court, and if they were found guilty, and the punishment was whatever I, as the leader of the MPFL, approved, there was just no indiscriminate killing of people. But these terrible things happened, but we took action as we found out. Now, I don't claim that we knew everything that happened, but whatever happened that we got to find out, we acted upon.
Now, you call it a revolution, Mr. Taylor. Why?
Change. Liberia had a history of one party. The True Whig Party in Liberia was all of our party. Whether you wanted to be a member of the party or not, you were just a true Whigger. That Whig is that old Southern style politics that the quote unquote American Liberian brought as the free slaves returned from the United States. And they had what they call the Whigs. And so the True Whig Party in Liberia was the only party. And
let me pause. Former President Charles Taylor, that voice you are hearing is the voice of former President Charles Taylor. And I will simply say, what will Liberia do? What would Charles Taylor do? What would Liberians do if Taylor was alive today and given the opportunity to participate in the political arena, a landscape of Liberia? This is what I'm talking about. Because people who knew Charles Taylor know the kind of man he was and what he stood for. Right? But as we operate in life, destiny takes up all of us at different locations, different life span. Was he capable of running the country? Yes, he was. And many of you would say, yes, he was. Tell of us. Folks, you know that. He understood the politics and the dynamics of Africa and Liberia and that of the New World Order. That was Charles Taylor. So what am I saying here? You heard current President George Weah. You heard former President Madam Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. You've heard former President Charles Taylor, and you will hear another president. But before we even hear that, I want us, those three past presidents, no, those two past presidents and a current president, what is it that Liberians have learned? I will tell you this. Government comes and go. Government do not stay. There is what we call constitution. You could be there for 6 years. You could be there for 12 years. After 12 years, you're done. Governments come and go. But what type of legacy do you want to leave behind as a nation when your people are suffering, when your people are in degradation, when there's no food? The market woman that got her bitter ball and her rice, taking it to Douala, Oro, Dupo Road to sell all day, can't even get enough to take home to feed her children. And you say the country is living. Come on, Liberians, we know better. That is why this coming election is crucial. If you don't think your vote matters, I'm here to tell you that it matters from this platform. Your vote matters. Folks, Your vote matters. And so as a result, picking your vice president is crucial. And this is why I want to discuss this. Who will Honorable former Vice President Joseph Numa Boakai pick as his VP come Friday? Folks, this is important. It's not a personal thing. This is something that you have to consider, because in picking up a vice president, you are looking at someone who is going to, who could succeed you in case of an emergency or something happening, that you can run the country. That is what happens. So picking up the VP for Unity Party, knowing very well that Unity Party is the #1 opposition party in the country that could or may have the propensity of unseating the current government of George Weah. How important is it to Joseph Numa Boakai in picking his vice president, his running mate? And how important is it to the Unity Party and its partisans? There are names in the media we've heard. There are names in secret corners, that we've heard. But at the end of the day, come Friday, we'll know who is he considering. The likes of Jeremiah Coon, Senator Jeremiah Coon, Yomli Kanga. The coalition want him as well to come together to have a dialogue, a common sense dialogue, to choose the ANC political leader, Mr. Cummins, as his running mate. Is this something that's doable? Is it even something to give a thought to, knowing what Cummins has done? He is running his own campaign. He has his own money. But could he be, for the interest of Liberia, for saving Liberia from the hands of the current government, are they willing to bury or lay down their egos? This is what's happening. Are these politicians willing to lay down their ego, or are they willing to go through another 6 years? It is theirs. That decision is for them. And this is where we're going to realize, this is why I'm playing you these videos, these voices of former presidents, so you will know that government come and they go. Government do not stay. And the decisions that you make today affect tomorrow. Folks, call into the show if you wish. The number is on the line. Lines are open. Be a part of it. Today, Monday Politics. Every day this week, we are here to broadcast until Friday. Until we hear. That way we'll be able to dissect or dichotomize the vice presidential pick for Joseph Numa Boakai. This is what we want to do, because the people need to know who is the vice president. He's not someone who is just a lame duck. A vice president has an enormous role to play. Remember, he's president of the pro tem of the Senate. He can decide, he can make decisions as a vice president. Wherever the president is not able to go, the vice president is there to represent. Ably. Fully qualified. That means we need someone, Liberia needs someone, a vice president, who is going to be picked to be fully qualified to be a presidential material. Remember, vice presidents are not elected, they are appointed. So that is why it is very, very crucial to note that people who are running or aspiring to become leaders of our country know that picking a vice president is very, very vital, very, very important. That is someone that could succeed you if you die in office, if you are overthrown or executed, or if you are ill or sick and can't perform the duties of president. That is the responsibility of the vice president, folks. So it's very, very crucial, very important. Violet is another person we're hearing around the corners. Is that something? Does that name sound? Because what we hear, what we are hearing, what we heard with just names, some of those names, some indiscriminate killings and things that are happening in the country are tied up to some of those people, right? We have Senator Nyamli Kanga Lawrence. We have Jeremiah Cohn. We have Alexander Cummings. Violet Taylor. Who is he going to pick? We are yet to decide. I know for sure somebody's going to be there. This is something that requires a sober reflection. A sober reflection, folks. I'm telling you. So come Friday, Talk TV Media will be there live to cover this event, as well as other media outlets. We'll be here to dissect, to bring you the G's, as quote unquote, as Liberians would say. We'll be here to give you the true reality as well. We'll be here to give you the qualification, this candidate, this vice president of Joseph Numa Boakai. And the reason why a lot of media and the people are focusing on this thing, on Joseph, on the Unity Party, is important, because the potential of unseating George Weah is there. Simple. Because many of you will ask, say, well, why Joseph Numa? Why is it just Unity Party? Why is it just Unity Party? Why? It is because it is the fundamental number one opposition party in the nation. Yes, Joseph Numa Boakai may have his own pitfalls. I who sit here right here, I got problem with the Ome. Because sometimes you got to be feisty, you got to be strong, you got to react to issues that comes as they develop. We live in the 21st century world. Information is coming fast and pace. Sometimes you got to step up to the plate and react. Look at the report that just came today on all media outlets by the ambassador of the United States of America, Ambassador McCarthy. Have you read it? Very important for you to read as a Liberian. The ambassador of the United States of America has gone to all the counties in Liberia. Tell me which political party or which political leader, including the president, current president of Liberia, has President George Weah traveled to all the 13 counties of Liberia? No. Show it to me. And now we have a special retreat is being taking place today. Emergency retreat is taking place in Grand Bassa. Immediately called upon by the president. Who does that? Why? The security forces and the security apparatus, everybody's scrambling what to do. Mr. President, the hotel that you're booking everywhere to go stay over there, there are civilians that have booked those hotels. They are staying in there, and now they're kicking them out, even though they pay their own money. Not thinking about that. Why? They say they're having a cabinet meeting. Where's the respect for society, a peaceful society in Grand Bassa? Where is that, Mr. President? You cannot do that to me here. Living in a diaspora in this world, that I went to a hotel, I pay to stay there. I'm staying there for how long I want to. And President Joe Biden is coming, not giving full thought as to people are staying in there. Just kick them out because while I'm coming there, you're human. Remember I said, quote unquote, government comes and go? Yeah. What is the essence, the importance, or the significance of calling this quick and impromptu retreat with ministers? Remember, the president just left not too long ago from here, the United States. And while he was here, he was visited by the FBI. He went there and visited. They called on him. And since he went back, they've been quiet because there has been a lot of killings taking place in the country that have gone with no punishment or result, impunity, nothing. A lot of things has been going on in the country. The latest one, last one, is the killing of a former Chief Justice's daughter, Gloria Musu Scott. Folks, you can't have this going on under your watch. You the president of the country. You the leader. And then, oh, we are doing investigations, and at the same time, in due time, we'll bring the perpetrators to justice. It's dead and gone. You can't do that. These are human beings. They are losing. These are Liberian citizens. Whoever went there that night went there purposely to execute or get rid of Gloria Musu Scott. But as God will have it, it turns the other way around, folks. I'm telling you. But where is the investigation? And the autopsy report and everything has come out from professionals. And the body of that girl is still in the hands of the government. Why you can't turn the girl over to the grieving mother to bury her daughter? Folks, I'm telling you, this is what's happening. The 3 boys that got killed, and many of you, former president's relatives, all of those, no report, no results. The investigation is still going on. How can that happen? That is what I'm talking about. A society, a lawless society, is not a good society. A lawless society, and we are looking at cocaine and drugs coming into the country in huge amounts of money, millions. And you said Zogos are all out in the street, infesting those drugs with our children and stuff. What is going on, y'all? What is happening in the nation of Liberia? We need to pray for our country. We need to help our country. We need to make sure we keep our country to prayer, that God's will should be done for the nation of Liberia. But this is why Liberians need to decide that come October, you have to think twice. Why are you heading into that voting booth to cast your vote? Are you thinking? There are a lot of good candidates at play. Joseph Boakai, he got his own opinion for some of us. Even me, I got issues with some of the way he run things. I agree. What's his name? Honorable, gosh, what's his name, man? Folks, I will come back to him. Brain froze. Tewan Gonglo. I knew I was going to remember that. Councillor Tewan Gonglo. He's another good candidate. He's a very good candidate as well. He's running. He's a grassrooter, bro. Folks, he's a grassrooter. I'm telling you, he's a grassrooter. Tewan Gonglo has been to all the 13 counties. Running. Politicking. disseminating his message the best way possible. He's done that, and he continues to do that with a broom in his hand, sweeping Liberia. And he knows how government is being run. He's been in government, been there, done that, under Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, under Sawyer, different forms of government. Former president of the Bar Association. Are Liberians watching? Are they paying attention to what is happening? Or are you just paying attention to someone who will give you a bag of rice, or someone who will just buy you a motorcycle, or someone who will pay your 1 or 2 months rent, and then you're going to cast a vote for them? Casting your vote has to do with not your future, but the generations that come up after you. Your children and your children's children, the future of the nation. That is why casting your vote is very, very significant. Folks, I only came here to give you a very short Monday Politics show. So I'll be bringing you all this information along with my colleagues. This week will be on air, coming at different times until Friday. All of us will be here to discuss Joseph Numa Boakai, VP Pick for 2023 this year. It's crucial. It's very important. And we don't know anything about Alexander Cummings yet, what he's up to. If there's any MOU in place, ongoing, secret backdoor discussions, all of that. And folks, those of you who are in the media of native man, country man versus Congo man, y'all got to just cut it out. Cut it out, folks. Cut it out. This is not that generation. This generation is a different generation. The same thing that's happening here in the United States, white and folks, black and white, that's not what we all for. Liberia's done with that. Get over that, folks. Right? We're not all for that. Oh, Congo, oh, native man, oh, this, that. No, mulatto, wherever you come from, it doesn't matter. Liberia needs a God-fearing leader, a leader who is willing and able to implement the wishes of the people. Liberians are not demanding so much demanding. We just need a good society, a government that will provide good electricity, safe drinking water, roads. That's it. Just the basic necessities. That's all. That's it. And the rest, Liberians will take care for themselves. Is it too hard? As blessed and enriched as Liberia is? It's not. I think the problem here is the love of country. The love of country. Huh? If you look at this photo right here, when the current president, George Weah, was at the apex of his career, you could see in his eyes the drive, that go-getter drive. You can see it. Huh? But is it there now for Liberia? Is that drive there? Is it there? So we have to know our leaders, or so we can stop electing our leaders based on sentiments, not just on emotional. We can't be all emotional when you're picking up someone. When you look at these photos, Joseph Numa Boakai is coming Saturday, not Saturday, it's Friday, to pick his vice president. How much thought is he giving into this? How much? Is he giving enough thought to this presidency? They say the old man sleeping. Is he? We are yet to find out. What is he doing? Does he have room to bring the collaborating parties, including his friend, They both call themselves as friends. They've long time been knowing each other as friends. That's how they call themselves. For a very long time. Alexander Cummings on the other side and Joseph Newman Boakai on the other side. Shaking hands, folks. Right there. Right there. Let me remove this. There they are. Are they willing to come under one umbrella for a common purpose? Are they? We are yet to find out. And this is where I need you to stay tuned until Friday, folks. I tell you, politics is deadly. Politics is good. Politics is fun. Politics decides the future of a nation. But politicians cannot be trusted. That's another thing. Politicians cannot be trusted. You can't trust them, my people. I'm telling you, you can't trust them. You cannot trust them. You can't trust politicians. They are something. All of this that we are doing for our people, all of this that we are doing for Mama Liberia, it's all simply because we want Liberia to shine. We want Liberia to shine, to be the beacon of hope once again in the Committee of Nations. That is what we want. That is what Liberians are yearning for. That's it. Nothing else. That's what we are yearning for. Be a freedom fighter. As I take leave of you, folks.
Did you know that?
Until then, I'll catch you here tomorrow, along with my colleagues.
One more freedom When they welcome me, they say they were freedom fighters. When they welcome me, they say they were liberators. But when they keep they change their mind. When they keep they change.
This is what they do, man. When they come in, they say they are liberators. They are freedom fighters. But when you give them the helm of power, the authority, the gavel, they change their mind. They are power drunk. They are power crazy. That is why we need to be careful. That is why we need to be mindful who or whom we elect as president of Liberia. Because they come in sheep clothing. Come as though they are freedom fighters, not knowing they are rogues, they are thieves, they are thugs. All of us live in the same village, and that village is none other than Mama Liberia. Can we turn that village to be everyone's village? Folks, that's what we need. The village of Liberia is our village, given to us by God. Rich in natural resources. Rich. Gold, diamond, bauxite, rubber, whatever you may think of, Liberia has it. The soil in itself is rich, where we grow rice, cassava, potato, color greens. Anything you put in Liberia will flourish. What are we doing? What are we doing? Folks, let's pray for Mama Liberia. I salute you all. Have a pleasant night. Same time, same place, here at Top TV Media Network. Tomorrow. Catch you.
yenye wara wa monyo ju kweyon. Ke wana wa kuna ngira. Wasia wa pebi abu. Wana wa kuna ngwa. Wasia wa pebi abu. Kena be monye be nyaka.
I'm a freedom fighter.
Oh, wa monye o.
I'm a freedom fighter.
My freedom fighter get in your job your kwasa.
I'm a freedom fighter.
My freedom fighter get in your do your baba.
I'm a freedom fighter.
My freedom fighter get in your people on the
I'm a freedom fighter.
ayo ayo.